Good morning. I was browsing the internet on my, what I call it, a smartphone, and I saw a short video called Pod Save America. It's become known to me that the principles behind Pod Save America are all Obama assistance. What is the theme? What was the entire theme of Pod Save America? That the Democrat Party has to go away from its support of Israel and has to not intervene when the United Nations censors Israel. And somehow or other, this is going to save America. That's the theme. That Israel somehow or other is the cause of all of the strife and all of the imbalance of payments, the debt that is without any kind of control, unfettered government waste that's been shown by Elon Musk and Ramaswamy and their cohorts for just a few days. They discovered $160 billion of waste in a few days. What happened was the media immediately went against the Department of whatever they call it, Doge, to badmouth it because this was going to give President Trump a victory. So anything that's good for Trump is bad for the Democrats, even though it's good for the country. There are trillions of dollars that are wasted every year in our budget. It's an overbloated budget. I saw articles that it's just not true. You have buildings upon buildings, billions of dollars of buildings with about a 3% occupancy. You have people not coming into work, and when they're asked what they've done, they act like they're little spoiled kids, and you're not allowed to. How dare you ask me what I'm doing? That's the kind of government you have. It's a government fed by Democrat policies, so-called progressive policies, that's supposed to help the individual, but all it helps is the government. And all it does is to impoverish the country to eventually reach what they want. What is it that the Democrats, the progressives, really want? They want a socialist country. They want that the government should own the means of production. That's what a socialist country is. How can they get there when you have an economy that's the number one in the world? We have the best economy in the world. The proof of that is this is the country that everybody wants to get into. They're not running to communist China. Don't give me that the Chinese are number one. They're not running there. They're not running to India. They're not running to Great Britain. They're not, some of them are running to Germany, but much less and much fewer numbers. Much fewer numbers are going into France. Nobody's going to Spain or Italy. They're running out of there. The one country in the world that people want to go to is not Argentina, which is doing well now thanks to this new prime minister that they got. They're not running to Brazil. They're not running to Mexico. It has a better climate. The southern Mexican climate is beautiful. Why aren't they running to Mexico? They're running to the United States. It's the number one country in the world, the greatest country ever created by God. They want to destroy it. How do you destroy something like that? You bankrupt it. You keep spending without any kind of restriction. And you claim it's necessary because there are poor people and you're servicing poor people. Over 90% of the money that goes to these programs go to politicians, go to bureaucrats. I was once offered an anti-poverty program. It was supposed to give me $100 a week. If I signed up at the end of the day, I was going to get $9 a week from the anti-poverty program out of $100. $91 went to insurance, went to expenses, went to bureaucrats, different organizations. At the end of the day, I was going to get $9 a week, $468 a year if I signed up to get $5,200 in aid. True story, by the way. All of these government programs are bloated with waste. The only one who gets anything out of it are the politicians and the incompetent bureaucrats managing these projects. And these incompetents are the ones that write all kinds of programs to restrict building, to restrict organizations, and make it appear that the people creating wealth in this country are violating some kind of law. It's like the seichel of AOC, that they were going to get $2.6 billion in tax assistance to Amazon to build a plant in Long Island City. Well, you got $2.6 billion. Why don't you give it to poor people? You didn't have $2.6 billion in anything. When you have a client, that the client is paying taxes, and instead of paying $5.4 billion, you reduce that to $2.8 billion. That's a $2.6 billion assistance to the client, but it's not giving him any kind of money. It's so that the client has an incentive to build a plant that gives 20,000 workers a paycheck, a good paycheck, in Long Island City. AOC is too stupid to understand that, and she opposed it. And by her opposition, Long Island City lost that opportunity. But it all comes down to the stupidity of people who believe in socialism. They believe that if you take things from the rich, you're going to get a government that's rich, that's able to go ahead to provide for its people. It's never worked in any place in this world. And the reason for that is government is the most inefficient company in the entire world. The government is the most inefficient, more inefficient than any kind of private enterprise where there's a profit that's driving it. And it isn't because the people in businesses are cutting corners. All of those so-called violations are made-up violations by bureaucrats putting string. You cannot build a building in California today. There's a lack of housing in California because you can't build anything, because the bureaucrats have put in so much red tape. You have to pay hundreds of thousands of dollars to inspectors before you can actually build. Tell me what kind of a business is going to build in California. It's common sense. So who are these Obama people? They're socialists. And guess what? The only problem that we have isn't socialism, isn't tariffs, isn't the millions of people coming through our southern border and you don't even know who they are, and the violence that they can produce. That's not the problem. The only problem that the United States has is supporting Israel, and we should stop our veto of United Nations declarations against Israel. Let me tell you something, Pod Save America, you idiot. I'm a Jew, and I'm a proud Jew, and not afraid of you. We've outlived worse than you. We've outlived Obama. Before that, we outlived Stalin. Before that, we outlived Hitler. Before that, we outlived Genghis Khan. Before that, we outlived the Inquisition, the Torquemada. We've outlived every major empire in the world. Yeah, you can get rid of me. I'm just a little Jew. I'm 79 years old. You can just hit me across the face, probably knock me out. But I'm not afraid of you. The Jewish people, my friend Pod Save America, will be there after you die, and after your children are gone, and after your grandchildren are gone. Because there is a little book that was given by Gandhi 3,338 years ago. And in that book, God guarantees that the Jewish people will survive, despite your hatred. You have a United Nations that has problems all over the world, that has millions and millions of people being pushed out of their homes by violence. You have violent Muslims trying to kill out every last Christian in the continent of Africa. That's what's happening now, right now. You have millions of Coptic Christians who've been killed and replaced and chased out of their homes in Egypt, in that nice little place called Egypt, the good place, the place where they have, these so-called, understanding Muslims, moderates. You've got Druze being butchered to death by Islamists in southern Syria by a person who claims to be a moderate. Almost all of the world's conflicts are done by moderate Muslims against their neighbors. Pakistanis against India. Look what's going on in the Philippines, all across this world. But there's so many conflicts, so many things, people starving to death actually starving to death in Central America and South America because of the horrific programs of the socialist regimes in Venezuela and the tyrants all over the world. The only place that's a problem is Israel. 70% of the votes to reprimand the country is against Israel. And the United States veto is the only semblance of some kind of understanding and fairness. You want to take it away because you want Israel to die. That's what you really want. You're just a blatant anti-Semite. You hate Israel. You hate Jews. But you can't say that. You're just not nice. You'll back Islamists who'll say, from the river to the sea, Palestine will be free. You'll go ahead and you'll deny Israel its right to even have arms to defend itself. I'm only one agreement with you. Israel should not take a penny from the United States anymore. Israel has grown up as a country of its own. It'll be hard. $3.3 billion is a lot of money. But I believe that Israel doesn't need it anymore. I believe that it's a drug that keeps us dependent on the United States. Israel is an ally of the United States, but sometimes our interests don't intersect. And I will say this for anybody who listens, who might be able to get the message across. There is absolutely no reason to not destroy the Ayatollah and his henchmen who will replace him. It is absolutely necessary at this moment. I know that you want the Iranians to rise up and rebel. They don't have the wherewithal. You need to create chaos. The chaos has to be created by a crisis of who the leadership is. You don't have to wait until Khomeini dies. He has people who will inherit the position. You got to get rid of him and the people who will replace him and their assistants and create a government crisis. A government crisis will paralyze the military and allow the Iranian people to replace this hateful regime. Israel should not depend on the United States for anything except friendship. Israel needs to go its own course, because sometimes our needs might be parallel to the United States, but not exact. We don't have to be locked in step with the United States as long as we promote each other's interests and the interests of the free world, as long as the free world wishes to be free. And my message to France and England, Spain and Canada: a long time ago, every one of you deported all of their Jews, and you became Judenrein. The British restored their Jews in the 17th century, but they actually had Jews inside Britain even before. There were Jews in London, 15th century, 16th century, while Britain was becoming the great power. Spain, on the other hand, had been the power of the world, the founder of all the countries in the New World, recipient of the benefits of that New World. Spain went down. Why? It expelled all of its Jews. And right afterwards, it went down dramatically. France, not so much, but France was always a second-tier power, never a first-tier power, never on the level of England. And whenever it matched up against Germany, just didn't match up. Had a big empire. You no longer have an empire. You may have memories of glory. But as I recall, France needed the Allies to defend it so that it could win World War I. It was America's entry into the war that sealed the deal. It caused the victory in World War I. It was America that freed France. A little bit of help from England. Freed France in World War II. France against the Prussians had no chance. Franco-Prussian War was a wipeout. The last person to win battles on behalf of France was Napoleon. And he was beaten down completely. What do I need to say about this? Your greatness is past you. Every country that has embraced the Jewish people has been successful while they've embraced the Jewish people. When they started to persecute them, they started going down. That's been the history of the world. You don't have to believe it, but it does say that by God in Exodus, in the book of Genesis, and again in the book of Numbers. Those who bless you will be blessed. Those who curse you will be cursed. You have chosen the curse, because there is no such thing as a two-state solution with Muslims, at least in the present tense, in the present society. They've grown up since 1967 with a hatred of Israel. But the hatred was there before. They wanted to wipe out Israel before then. And there is no moderates. What is a moderate? a radical, somebody wants to kill all Jews, a moderate will kill half of the Jews. Is that a moderate? Is that what we're supposed to make peace with? There is no two-state solution. That's number one. Number two, it's not an Arab state. The land that they sit on is Jewish land. It's Hebron, it's Shechem, it's Shomron and Yehuda, the two centers of the Israel monarchies 3,000 years ago. It is the land of Israel given to God, by God, to the Jewish people. And it will not succeed. The only thing is, you will help promote a war where many people will die. Many Jews will die. Many more Arabs will die. That's not what I want. That's not what you should want. You want peace. Peace through peace. Is there anybody among you recognizing the Basques who've had a revolution for hundreds of years? No, because the Basques are a small minority. They may have a cause, but the power is in Spain, in the main government. The so-called Palestinians, what they want isn't just a state. They've rejected a state. They want all of Israel, from the river to the sea. That's what they say. That's their belief. Any support you give them only supports that vicious aim. And the reason why you support that is because you hate Jews. Pod Save America is an anti-Semitic group who hate Jews. Because if you really want to save America, talk about economic responsibility, talk about economic ideas to expand the country's growth, talk about ways to actually help people, not by grants, but by actually helping them, give them opportunities in businesses, take away the red tape. Just like Reagan said, get the government out of the way and let the engine of initiative begin and flourish. Pod Save America, just a bunch of socialists who hate Jews.